let's dive in tonight. We're going to be, again, addressing in a big way gluten and pain, because gluten is a major contributing factor to autoimmune pain. But let's talk a little bit about some statistics first. So what we're looking at here, this is a projection of the cases, and this is U.S. projections, right? So arthritis will increase as the population grows and ages. But here are again, this data is from 2015. So you can see here, this is where the data is accurate, but this is the future projection as it goes forward into time. So right now, as it stands, about 25% or 1/4 of the population has some degree of inflammatory arthritis. So that's 54 million people. Now, 66% of that 54 million are women. So we look at this number again, that 54 million, 2/3 ladies, that's you. 2/3 are ladies, 1/3 are guys. So I know a lot of times, men will let things hurt until they fall off. You probably experienced that, ladies, if you're married, your husband won't go see a doctor until something falls off or breaks completely. But women tend to be the ones that are most affected. And so again, this is coming from research studies that have been conducted in the US. And one of the reasons why I personally think we see women more affected than men is, number one, as it relates to autoimmune disease, we know that women are more affected by autoimmune disease. There are some hormonal differences between men and women that predispose toward the progression of autoimmune disease. But one of the other reasons why I think we see more women than men being affected has to do with the fact that men just don't want to go see a doctor, again, and not until it falls off, not until it breaks. So women tend to go visit the doctor more frequently. Now, that being said, we got 54 million people who are predominantly addressing pain through pharmacy, right? So polypharmacy or multiple different types of medication. So what I call the prescription pain trap. And the reason why I call it a trap is because we have to understand that, philosophically speaking, drugs don't solve why pain is there. Drugs simply suppress or mask the pain. They mask your body's ability to interpret the pain, or they suppress the inflammatory chemicals that are designed to create the irritation that leads to the perception of pain. And so that's pain medication. So whatever class we're talking about, the problem here is, and it doesn't matter which class you're talking about. So like let's just put in some examples here. So if we've got non-steroidals, NSAIDs, okay, that would be things like ibuprofen, meloxicam, Celebrex, aspirin's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Then you have steroids. So that would be like your prednisone. Then we have the narcotics or the opiates, a little bit stronger. And then we have other special types of medications or specialized types of drugs, like, for example, one of them is called gabapentin, if you've ever taken that for neurological pain, because we're not just specifically talking about, specifically talking about joint or muscle pain, but we're also tying in neurological pain. They all kind of three go hand in hand. And then, of course, there's also what many people take, and that's like a Tylenol or acetaminophen. Okay, these are all just different, what we call the vast majority of options from a let's block it perspective. But every single one of these, except for Tylenol, so no GI symptoms. But the other ones all alter GI function. Now, why is that important to understand as we're talking about pain is when you alter GI function, you alter your nutrition. And when you alter your nutrition, you create a scenario biochemically where you're less apt to heal, repair, restore, and recover the inflammation. And so you can see it'll alter GI function, and I'll get more into depth about that, but that can lead to nutritional deficiencies. For example, Tylenol causes glutathione deficiency. Maybe it doesn't alter your GI function, but it does cause glutathione reduction. Glutathione is how we detoxify. It's how we take out the trash. Opiates and gabapentin, these all lock your gut up, creating severe constipation. Steroids and NSAIDs, these can cause ulcerations in the stomach and small intestines, leading to host of problems, but leaky gut being one of those. And if we're talking about autoimmune pain, remember that one of the precursors to autoimmune pain is leaky gut. So if the solution to the pain actually leads to enhancing the ability for the pain to be recreated in different ways, and it's not really a solution. The other problem with NSAIDs, you can get folate, iron, and vitamin C deficiency. So these can all come back low as a result of long-term NSAID use. Steroids will deplete vitamin C, they'll deplete calcium, they'll deplete magnesium, they'll deplete vitamin D. So you've got problems nutritionally with these two classes, the NSAIDs and the steroids themselves, and then that can't find me somebody who's going to be able to heal when they're in a situation where they have a vitamin C deficiency. Vitamin C is critical for healing and repairing inflamed tissue. It's one of the inflammatory modulators of the body. It's just one of the most important ingredients used in that aspect. Folate, in this case, in this example, folate is necessary to form new cartilage. So if you've got arthritis and your cartilage is damaged and your body's trying to heal or repair that cartilage, and you are taking a drug that blocks the pain but also inhibits your ability to reheal your cartilage through folate deficiency, guess what? You're not getting any better. And so that chronic persistent illness maintains itself. And so then usually what happens is, let's find a different drug, or let's find a new drug, or let's kind of start combining drugs. This is what I meant by polypharmacy, more than one medication. Now, aside from the prescription pain trap, we look at this image here. So let's just blow this up. You can see here, talk about this a lot in No Grain, No Pain, but grains lead to death by medicine. And what does that mean? So here's the myth. Grains are a necessity for a healthy diet. The fact is, grains and the chemicals found in grain-based products can cause a leaky gut and inflammatory pain. Doctors treat the situation with pain medicine, as I've just kind of laid out for you, and the pain medications can cause leaky gut and inflammation in the intestine. Even worse, pain medications are estimated to kill 16,500 people a year. Now, this is opiates. So we're talking about opiates. We're talking about narcotics, right? If we're talking about Tylenol or aspirin, predominantly non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, we can add to this another 13,000 deaths, and this is just aspirin. You guys maybe didn't know that, right? Aspirin kills about 13,000 people a year when properly used, and that's an over-the-counter medication. So a lot of people think of aspirin as this inert, non-dangerous medication, but for many people can become very, very problematic. If you want to go read more about those things, I've got the references in there for you. But again, going back to the theme, which is grain-induced inflammation, can lead to chronic pain, autoimmune pain, which then leads doctors to want to prescribe medications. And the medications themselves, if we combine just these two types of medications, aside from creating altered GI function, nutritional deficiencies, inability to heal, and chronic persistent illness, again, a lack of a solution, what we actually also get is about 30,000 deaths a year on top of it. Hey, don't forget to check out the rest of the series right here. Make sure you hit subscribe below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.